You've been an entrepreneur, you've started businesses, succeeded in growing them. Have you any particular thoughts about what is wrong with our business landscape that you think the Workers' Party can bring up as corrective measures, suggest as corrective measures, the landscape for competition, for establishing new businesses, growing new businesses, and so forth?
Yes, there's actually many things that are wrong, and I think the first thing is mindset. Because if you look at the way Singapore has developed, so we rely on governments and the MNCs trying to start large enough businesses to feed jobs to the people, so much so that the mindset of the people have all been towards, okay, for education, for example, everybody looks for getting a scholarship, getting a good job, and then go and work for somebody. So that risk-taking attitude in Singapore is number one missing. Now that's a rather difficult problem to solve, and I've written many times to the forum. I posted out on my blog site as well. It is not an easy problem to solve, but we must start somewhere to start educating people that it's okay to fail, it's okay to take risks from young age. You know, not just one track of success. So that is one area. The other area that we need to seriously look at is, well, while all these GRCs and all that have created a lot of jobs in the past, but today's economy requires a lot of ground-up initiative. Now, we cannot spark that degree of momentum in the amongst the people to really want to start up businesses, because number one, it's quite suffocating. Because when you go and compete in a business, and sometimes you find some MNCs or GRCs there, and I've also written before that many times the government servants, for example, want to play it safe. It can be a smaller company that can fulfill the criteria at a lower price, but they do not want to take the risk to award to a lower company. To a smaller company. Not that they cannot qualify, but because they do not dare to take the risk. I mean, this is a very prevalent culture, which it is not some magical solution that we can propose that can solve the problem overnight. But I think it should start at many levels, from the education level, from the way the government encourages businesses. And when I mean encourage business, I don't mean the traditional way that they normally do, throw out some grants, create a few competition and honor a few people. I think it's rather superficial, you ask me. You know, it has to cut across the whole spectrum of society and the way we run business. And this is something that I had actually hoped that Singapore would do when we had first created this post called Minister in Charge of Entrepreneurship. We had 3 ministers in charge of entrepreneurships. But as an entrepreneur, honestly, I do not see enough passion in it to really champion this cause. I mean, you can come up with some KPIs and say, oh, we have given up so much grants and all that, but really it doesn't change the landscape.
You have a question? Yes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Lowe. You said that you would be putting up 23 candidates at the election. Realistically, how many of these do you think will be victorious?
I'm afraid I'm not able to answer the question because I do not like to speculate the outcome of election. Of course, we hope they can be elected, but I would not like to speculate the result.
To put it another way, sir, how many candidates do you think the entire opposition should win to present an alternative or the start of an alternative in Parliament?
I don't think we are looking into numbers. What we are looking at is whether or not there would be a number of candidates to be elected. And in particular, of course, the Workers' Party's major aim or objective is to try to break through a GRC at this election. That's what I've said several years ago at the 50th anniversary of the party.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so can you break it down for us?
We arrived, we immigrated to Singapore. I believe it was on my birthday in February in 1972. And when I ROD'd to go to school overseas, it was in September or October, 1982. So by simple calculation, without taking into account all the time we've spent at home in Singapore, for Chinese New Year and for school holidays for the children and all that, I already meet the requirements.
Yes.
Between building a dream team instead of A team, because I think the observers who said that it's not enough to just have an A team, but a dream team with you, Silver, and
My answer to that is no team is enough, whether it's A, Super A, or Dream. The decision comes from the people. And these are very relative as to what do you mean by dream team, what do you mean by A team, what do you mean by B team. To us, is that eventually the voter have to tell us what do they want, regardless whatever team. I mean, that's the way we put at it. And our A team may be C team to the voters, so I don't think it's meaningful to go into that. Yes.
How did your family react when you told them that you were going to join the Commission Committee in Singapore? And finally, with regard to the outcome of elections, assuming there's an NCMP seat available, will you pick up the option?
I think none of what's happened to date is fully or unexpected. My family naturally, had questions and concerns when I first told them about this path that I've decided to go on. And as for the NCMP seat, I think the parties made quite clear that it will make a decision, and that all of us, will follow the party's lead in this regard.
What questions and concerns do you have?
What you would expect, from, for example, my parents. I mean, they don't quite understand why it is that they don't quite understand, why it makes sense to give up to not continue on the path that I'm on in terms of professional developments and such. I mean, I think you can understand parents and wife. We feel that we're happy with what we have, and and people are naturally sort of resistant to prospective changes.
In the last election, the opposition combined won, I believe, 33% of the overall vote. Do you expect now, in this election, the opposition to do better? Is there some momentum? Is there some reason to think that the opposition this time will be able to take advantage of the discontent that's out there and give a stronger showing?
Well, one can never predict the election results. But of course, what we do notice to date is that it appears that there would be more seats contested compared to the last time. So in that sense, there appears to be some momentum, definitely, in terms of people feeling freer to offer themselves in the opposition camp as candidates to Singaporeans. But of course, eventually, even though Singaporeans may be unhappy about certain issues and so on, how they will eventually cast their vote, it's not easy to predict. it has been written about before that, for example, the profile of the voters this round is actually quite interesting and different. There are many more people who were born after independence, for example. How they would vote, again, it is not easy to predict. So I wouldn't want to venture a guess on that. But what I do notice is that probably this election would be, in a sense, more interesting because of the sheer number of seats which are being contested.
If the opposition only has 33% of the vote this time, will you be disappointed?
I'm watching more about the Workers' Party share of the vote, so I think we will look at that more carefully.
Just back to what you said earlier about the goal being to win at least one GRC. Yeah, I'm not asking where you are standing.
Yes.
You said on Wednesday, right? But do you agree that it's like the Workers' Party aim of winning a GRC to be stronger if you were to lead the GRC charge?
That is hypothetical, right? Are you going to guarantee that if you lead a team, I'll win? You could give me the guarantee?
That's exactly what the PAP said.
How PAP give guarantee?
I have one more tiny question. You said that the candidates this time they are more mature slate compared to 2006. But majority of them, about 16 out of 23, they're contesting for the first time. Yeah. So we elaborate a little bit more on how they are more mature.
Okay, they're more mature in the sense that many of them have been experienced in their own field, either in business or their profession, and they are relatively older. They are more experienced in life compared to the candidates we viewed at the last election. That's what I mean by more mature.